Hello everyone, my name is Dave Partner and welcome to your 10th Node.js tutorial. In this tutorial we will be treating something called streams in Node.js and so let's just quickly create a file for it. In this tutorial I will do more of explaining, which means I won't actually write a code. I will just copy and paste code and explain the code. Okay, streams are objects that let you read data from a source or write data to a destination in a continuous fashion. In Node.js, there are 4 types of streams. You have readable. Yes, you have readable. Then you have writable. Then you have duplex. And you have transform. Okay, I'll quickly explain these so you understand what they do in streams. In readable streams, these are streams which are used to read stuff. Like it's used for reading operations. This is used for writing operations. This is used for both reading and writing operations. And this is a special kind of duplex stream where the output is computed based on the input. Okay. And we will look at something else very interesting. At this point, you'll suddenly realize that some of the things we've treated in the past will start connecting. Alright? Each type of stream is an event emitter. Remember when we did this? Event emitter. So each of these types of stream we've seen above, and it throws several events at different instances of times. For example, some of the commonly used emitters are, we have data emitter, we have end emitter, we have error emitter, we have finish. Again, don't worry if you're not really understanding this in full time, it will start making sense from now. So we read something from a stream and it throws one of these, it fires one of these events. So these are 4 events, any of these fires. So we attempt to read a file or the contents of a file, for instance. It tells us at the end of reading that file, it throws an event, an end event. That is, it emits an end. Then the data, once it reads the data, it throws the data event. Then there is an error. If it finds an error while trying to read the data, it throws the error. Then there is finish. Okay, so let me explain the data. The event is fired when there is a data, and the data is available to read. So we're trying to read a file we're trying to read the contents of a file, and data is available. Then we have an event there called data. Then there is end. The end is fired when there is no more data to read. So when we reach the end of file, it fires another event. So the event is fired when there is any error receiving or writing data. So once there is an error, it fires it. So we can actually print out this error by doing stuff like console.log in the callback function. Stuff like this. We'll see that in a short while. Then the finish. This event is fired when all data has been flushed to underlying system. So at the end, when it has been flushed, you get a finish. Alright, so remember in our past tutorials, we have a random text file we called AnyName. And inside this text file, we just had a random text inside it. So let's quickly see how we can read it. So I created this. Where is our event streams? Okay, so I'll quickly delete this guy and actually paste some code, then I'll explain. Like I told you, I'm going to paste code, then I'll analyze it for you, then we run it. So I'll save this code and let's look at what is happening here. We are importing a file reading module. The module's name is fs, like we've seen in the past tutorials. Then we'll just declare an empty variable and make it empty, so that this is the variable we will use to save all our data. Then in this line, we just created a readable stream So we're saying this fs dot create read stream. We're trying to read the data we have in this file, and look at the file here and look at the data we have there. So we're trying to read it from here. We're saying, hey, create read stream and go to this file and pick stuff out. Remember, we told you that we have 4 events that are in stream, which is data, end, error, and finish. Okay, so we start listening. So here we are listening or observing. That's the language in Node.js. We start observing, waiting for this guy to fire an event. So this guy attempts to read. If it finds data inside and it's able to read the data, it will fire this event immediately. The name of the event it will fire is data. So once it emits this data event, this is what will happen. We grab the data and we save it all in the variable we created here. Otherwise, if at the end of after reading the whole data, it will fire another event called end. Once it reaches the end of the file, here is the end of the file. And for this, let me just make this more text. Okay, right here, it will start from here and read serially line by line till it gets here. Once it reaches here, it will fire an event called end. And we're saying, hey, if you fire an event called end, here is the callback function. This is what you will do. Print out everything you have saved inside data. So we're assuming that, hey, you've seen data and you've saved all in a variable called data. Then if you reach the end of the file, just print it all out for us. Then finally, we're saying, hey, if you eventually find an error, for instance, you're not able to read this file for any reason whatsoever, print out the whole error for us. Let's see why you couldn't do that. Then we say, hey, program ended. So remember, in Node.js, the observer starts observing, the callback is basically dormant. So once it starts observing, it jumps to the next part of your code. So Node.js runs like this: starts observing, jumps, starts observing, jumps, starts observing, jumps, then prints this guy while it's waiting for this event to fire. So it's observing and listening for this event to fire. Once this event fires, it starts executing this. This one fires, it starts executing this. Which means in this code, program ended will print first. Then this guy reads the file and runs this guy, then runs this guy. Then if there's an error, it runs this guy. Good. So let's try it out. So I've said that just to be sure that I saved this guy. Then the name of our file, let's save it. Right click and save, or file save, or Control S. So the name of our file is streams.js, and it is in our desktop, anything streams. So the streams.js file is here, streams.js. So we'll get this URL, start our node server, our node command prompt, node, and we navigate to the root folder of the file, then we click enter. So we are now in this folder right here, so we can now access whatever we want. So we'll do node streams.js, which means node run the code we have in streams.js. I'll hit enter, and guess what? It printed program ended first like we predicted, then it read the whole file. So that's it in streams. And we will see 1 or 2 more tutorials in the examples in the next video. Then we are done with streams. Okay, thank you very much. See you in the next video tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It's on youtube.com/c/brainterm.org, and don't forget to share this video, like and share this video to your friends on other social networks. Thank you. See you in the next video.